Before you spend any time developing a health or wellness coaching program, there's one thing you need to do. If you skip this step, you could waste a lot of time and maybe even a lot of money creating something you'll end up having a really hard time selling. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to keep that from happening to you. I'm Nicole Piper. I help health and wellness professionals build profitable online coaching businesses. I do it by helping them position themselves in a unique way. And then with my trust-based marketing method, they show their potential clients why they're the obvious person to help them. Since 2018, I've worked with over 1,000 health and wellness professionals, and many of them have gone on to create businesses that earn $10,000 to $20,000 a month, and some a lot more. Okay, so you've got an idea for a coaching program that you're really excited about, and you know it could change lives. But the truth is, passion doesn't always guarantee profit. You need a way to actually test drive your idea to see if it's something people will buy before investing your energy into creating it. This is true whether you're a newly certified coach trying to figure out what to offer, or an established practitioner with a successful brick and mortar practice that you now want to move online. When I work with clients, I use a 7-point checklist to validate their idea, and that's what I'm going to show you here. If you take your idea through this checklist, you'll know whether you have a goldmine offer or a landmine offer that you'll struggle to sell. So the first step is to make sure your offer addresses a problem that's a clear and urgent pain point for them. So ask yourself if your program will help people solve a problem that disrupts their quality of life, and if it disrupts it enough that they'll actually want to pay for help. I know a lot of coaches love focusing on things like prevention or mindset, and those things are really important, but they're tough to sell online unless you already have a big following. The truth is, people rarely spend money to fix problems they're okay living with, but they will absolutely pay to solve for problems that interfere with their quality of life and the way they want to live. So focusing on a problem like that is your fastest path to $10,000 months. Okay, so here's what I do to check that. First, I look at Reddit. In my search bar, I type questions like, what do people say about whatever the problem is, and then Reddit. That will bring up a list of different conversations in Reddit about that topic, and then play around with that. You could try adding different things like the problem plus help Reddit, or the problem plus desperate Reddit, and read what people are saying about it. Is the language they use emotional, urgent, frustrated? Look for things like, I've tried everything, I'm at my wit's end, or I need help now. That's the kind of energy you're looking for. If the tone sounds casual or future focused, like, yeah, well, someday I'd like to, that's probably not an urgent enough problem to pull out their credit cards for. For example, someone's saying, I've had chronic migraines for 10 years and I've tried everything, I'm desperate. That's urgent and emotional. But I'd like to start eating healthier. That's more casual and not something people will likely pay a high-ticket program to get help with. Okay, the next step is to look at market size. Here we're looking to see if there are enough people who actually have the problem you want to solve. So let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine has a son who was born with pachygyria. I wouldn't be surprised if you've never heard of it. It's a condition that's extremely rare. It only affects about 300 people in the US, and affects how their brain develops. So the kids who have it have developmental delays and also have behavioral problems. So it's very disruptive to their quality of life and also to the quality of life of the parents. So it's a pretty intense problem, and it's obviously frequent, but there just aren't enough people for you to focus an online program on. It would be really hard to reach enough of them to make a sustainable business out of it. So a good rule of thumb here is you want to see that there are at least 500,000 potential clients who have the problem you want to help people solve. That's enough to build a profitable business. Even if you only reach 0.1% of your market, that's 500 potential clients. If your market is only 10,000 people, you need to capture 5% of it to hit the same number, and that can be really hard to do. So here's how to check the number of potential clients. Search the problem plus statistics on Google. Look for things like research studies, reports, or any kind of credible data that will tell you how many people deal with the issue. You can also check Facebook groups, subreddits, and forums. If they're an active community with tens of thousands of people talking about it, that's a great sign. But if you can't find any data or active communities, the market's probably too small. For example, gut health for women over 40, that's a huge market. But gut health for female marathon runners with celiac disease, that's way too narrow. Okay, now let's move on to the third thing you want to check for, and that's demand. You want to see if people are already spending money to solve the problem. If they are, that's great news. It means there's money in the market. So here's how you check for demand. Go to YouTube and search the problem plus how to. If videos have 10,000 or more views, that shows there's a lot of interest. Then go to Amazon and search for books on the topic. If you find books with 50 or more reviews, that means people are actively looking for solutions. Then go back to Google and type the problem plus coach. If ads come up, it means people are paying to reach this audience, and that's a green light. So if you can't find any content, books, ads, or competition, that's not a good sign. For example, weight loss for women over 50 has tons of videos, books, and ads. There's a clear demand, but breath work for accountants, not so much. There's no content or conversation about that, so there's no demand. Okay, moving on to the fourth thing on our checklist, and that's price tolerance. You want to find out if your audience is willing to pay premium prices. So think of it this way. If you want to make $10,000 a month, you could either have 100 people paying $100 a month, or 10 people paying $1,000 a month, or 4 people paying $2,500 a month. Which of those sounds easier? If you have the right kind of problem, it's much easier to find 4 people who will pay you $2,500 to solve it. So if your market won't pay higher prices, you'll end up stuck trying to get tons of clients just to make ends meet. So here's how to check for price tolerance. Search the problem plus program or problem plus course and check what others are charging. If similar programs are in the $500 to $2,000 range, that's good. But if everything you find is $20 ebooks or $50 apps, your audience has been trained to expect cheap solutions. For example, for autoimmune diet coaching, people pay $1,500 to $3,000, but meal planning for college students, they're definitely not premium buyers. Okay, the next thing you want to check for is community engagement. You want to see people are actively talking about the topic. If you see Facebook groups, subreddits, or forums where the audience is already gathering and talking about the problem every day, that's a great sign. But if no one's talking about it, you'll have to build the audience yourself, and that's time-consuming and expensive. A great example here is the Hashimoto's subreddit. It has over 30,000 members posting daily. That's a really engaged community. So you want to search each of those. For Facebook, search the problem plus Facebook groups and see if any groups come up that have, let's say, 5,000 members or more posting daily. Do the same for Reddit. See if there are about 10,000 members that have active discussions. Then look for forums. Google the problem plus forum and look for active threads from the past few days. Now let's move on to number 6, and that's financial fit. You need to find out if your audience can actually afford to hire you. It might sound harsh, but passion doesn't pay your bills. You want clients who can afford premium coaching without it causing financial stress. You can check this by Googling your target market plus average income. If your market includes college students, teens, or people with financial distress, they may not want your help. They may want your help, but they can't pay for it. For example, executive women with autoimmune conditions will most likely have the income to invest in high-ticket coaching, but teens with IBS, it would be a tougher sell. They'd have to ask their parents. That's after you get their attention. So, there are just too many variables there. Ideally, you want to focus on speaking to the end consumer, the person that would be your client, and not have to get buy-in from other parties. All right, we're at the last thing on our checklist, and this one is about creating a trust-building pathway. You need to have a way to build trust with people before asking them to invest with you. And there are 2 main ways to do this. The first option is to create a high-ticket offer funnel. I like to do this with a well-crafted webinar that builds trust and leads people to book a call with a coach. This approach is best if you already have success, such as established practice or a proven online business you're scaling. You should also be prepared to invest $5,000 to $7,000 in ads while testing. You can certainly get an ROI investing less than that, but I like to be realistic because it can take 6 to 12 months to optimize a funnel. And you also need to be comfortable with sales calls. The second option is to have strategic offer sequence where you start with something low ticket to build your list and prove your expertise, then start moving people through higher price offers. This works better if you're new and starting from scratch or transitioning online and want to see revenue in 30 to 60 days. And if you have less than $5,000 to invest before seeing ROI. So those are the 2 options. Pick the one that fits where you are in your business right now. Now, if you skip this step, you're just trying random tactics like posting, commenting, or running challenges, and you could really just start spinning your wheels. A trust-building pathway gives you focus and direction. Now, here's the harsh truth. After working with over 1,000 coaches and wellness professionals, I've noticed that most people pick their direction based on passion, not validation. They love gut health, so they become a gut health coach. They overcame anxiety themselves, so they coach others through anxiety. But then they struggle to get clients because they never validated their idea or built a real trust-building pathway. Validation takes time, as you can see, but it's essential. It's the difference between struggling to make $1,500 a month and having consistent $10,000 months. Now, I can help you accelerate this process and start getting clients faster. I'm now offering a complete done-for-you service where I handle all of this for you. The comprehensive market research across YouTube, Reddit, keywords, looking at your competition. I do validation against all the 7 criteria, including custom trust-building pathway with specific product recommendations and pricing. Your positioning. I'll give you your positioning and differentiation strategy and a detailed action plan for the next 90 days, plus looking out for the next 12 months. This also includes a 60-minute strategy call with me to walk you through everything. Can do this on your own, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of digging. So if you'd like me to do the heavy lifting for you and save you months of work, click the link in the description below and get all the details. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and feel free to drop a comment below and tell me which of these steps was new to you. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.